Hey guys, tonight we slip down a dark street in ancient Rome. Oil lamps flicker over stone. Dust hangs in the air like a warm fog. You breathe it in. Tastes like old bread and smoke. Sandals click and scrape, quick and light, then fade. Your shoulders relax as the glow pools at your feet. Feels cozy and a little risky. You are here to notice small things. The way prints bloom in powder. The way guards stand still but not too still. The way a shoe can speak without a word. You probably won't survive this if you try it for real, by the way. Rome at night can chew you up and spit you back as a cautionary tale. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Please tell me your city and the time where you are right now, too. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You move along a paved road. The stones are dark and tight. They keep their heat even after sunset. Your soles feel it. The air smells like olive oil, wet clay, and stew. From a window above, someone laughs. From another, a pot clinks. A mule snorts. Somewhere, a dog barks and then thinks better of it. The street tilts a little. Rain made grooves here and wheels made ruts. The dust pools in the low places. This is where prints show best. You pause at a crossing stone. Your breath fogs a little. You listen. A group of men strolls past. Their sandals tap in a neat rhythm. Tiny nails bite the rock. That clack is a typical sound in Rome. Soldiers wear hobnailed shoes. So do many workers. The nails give grip. They also leave sharp little dots in the dust. Tonight, those dots are your soft map. You train your eye. You start to read the ground like a page. A joke pops up in your head. You forgot your map app? But it's fine. The street is writing for you. A watchman rounds the corner. He carries a lamp. He is part of the vigiles. Think of them as the night crew. They fight fires. They keep order. That is a real thing in Rome. It started under Augustus and it sticks. The man's lantern wobbles with each step. He gives you a look that says, behave. You nod back as if you are a model citizen. Inside, you make a note. Where there are guards, messages get smarter. People move faster. People use shadow. People let shoes do the talking. You take another step and feel grit roll under your soul. Your foot slides a hair. The dust is thick here. You can see the prints crisp and clear. A narrow foot, light pressure, turns right near a wall, then switches back. Quick. You can almost sense a heartbeat in that pattern. There is a broken tile leaning against the curb. It shines like a pale coin. The print schemes it and keeps going. You smile. The ground is like a quiet whisperer. Says, look closer. Above you, a small balcony groans. A woman waters a pot of basil. It spills onto the street below. You step around the splash. Some cities used to sprinkle roads to keep dust down. Rome does it sometimes, too. Enslaved people sweep with twig brooms. Shops toss buckets when the heat is cruel. Tonight, the dust is back already. It always comes back. The city sheds it like skin. That is good for you. It means the ground keeps stories. You pass a shrine set into a wall. A tiny flame glows there. A Lara's figure watches over the block. A child has left a crust of bread. The flame bends in a light breeze. Your skin prickles. Not fear. Just a sense that you are walking where many feet have tested the same stones. You look down again. 2 sets of prints cross. One heavy and wide. One light and narrow. They split near a step. The light trail hugs the wall. It stays in the dim line where lamps miss. Takes skill to move that way. You think someone knows this dance. You reach a junction where 3 streets meet. The Romans call this a compedum. A lamp hangs from a beam. Moths make clumsy loops around it. Here you have to decide left or right. Old advice says, step out with the right foot for luck. Some Romans say the left is unlucky. That is a fun little tidbit. You chose right because why tempt fate? Your sandal taps the stone. The sound spreads and comes back faint, like a shy echo. The watchman stops at a fountain. He scoops water with a cup. He does not chase you. He is just there. But his presence sets a frame. What happens here has to fit inside the rules. There are taxes. There are fines. There are names on lists. Though tonight you keep it simple. You only follow marks in dust. You let the city teach you how shoes talk at night. Historians still argue whether Rome had steady street lighting. Some say people carried their own lamps. Others point to lamps hung in richer zones. Either way, the light comes in patches. Patches help secrets hide in plain sight. Your ears tune in. You catch the count of steps. Long, short. Pause. Long. If you walk this city enough, you learn the patterns. Soldiers move like drums. Traders swing slow and sure. Drunks sway and bump. And some feet move like birds. Quick. Precise. Not scared. Just smart. They pick smooth paths. They skip broken spots. They stay clear of puddles that would smear a print. You can almost hear a sly laugh in each soft turn. A lamp guttering makes a tiny hiss. You grin. The city is alive and also sleepy. Great mix for a sneaky message. A cat slides from a doorway and arcs its tail. You whisper hello because that seems required. The cat nods like it runs this block and lets you pass. Pastry seller packs up for the night. He tilts a tray, taps crumbs into a bowl, and hums. Your stomach growls. You make a deal with it. First, follow the trail. Then maybe honey cakes. The seller raises an eyebrow like he read your mind. You both shrug. Rome has no chill about food. You slow near a wall where ivy hangs. The leaves brush your shoulder. The ground here is even thicker with dust. Someone has stood and shifted. The prints show a turn. Toes press deep, then heel. Then the person walked on, calm and fast. You can tell the direction by the way the grit pushes forward. It is a tiny thing. Most people would miss it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Your pulse taps to match the light steps you follow. You look back. The lamp in the corner is smaller now. The watchman's glow turns into a dot. You are in a softer dark. Feels like a warm blanket pulled to your chin. You let your voice go low in your head. You drop the pace. You smile at the ground. Because the ground is generous, it holds stories for a few minutes. Then it wipes clean and starts again. Tonight, you arrive at the start of one story. It begins with quick feet, warm stones, and dust that remembers. You pause again. You notice how sandals can speak without a word. Not with letters. Not yet. With sound. With speed. With where they choose to touch the earth. Your own steps adjust. You match the rhythm. You feel the city listen. Somewhere, a rooster is confused and tries a test crow. Too soon, buddy. You are way ahead of schedule. You almost laugh out loud. But you don't. You keep the hush. You keep the pace. You let the whisper under your feet pull you deeper into Rome. You crouch by the ivy wall. The dust is kind tonight. It lies soft and even. It holds a mark like fresh dough. You study a trail of tiny dots. You tilt your head. Your eyes pick out curves. You whisper shapes. Maybe a line. A circle could be called. Your brain reaches for letters. Iron hobnails do this. They sit in rows under leather. They bite the stone. They keep the soul from wearing out. That is normal in Rome. Soldiers use them. Workers use them. Even fancy folk step on nails. It is loud on hard streets, but it is safe on wet ruts. It grips. It lasts. It leaves a crisp print when the dust is right. Now picture a cobbler at work. His bench is low. His lamp is low too. He holds a soul in his lap. He taps a nail. Tap, tap, tap. He does not care only about grip. He cares about a pattern. He thinks in a mirror. He sets the nails so the dots will read true on the street. He spells a short phrase. 2 words. Sequire me. Follow me. It is simple. It is bold. It is a wink without a face. You trace the dots with your finger. You connect a curve. You pause. You know the trick. To read a dust print, you need an angle. You need a shadow. A sideways lamp makes the dots pop. The watchman's lamp is far now, but a window flame helps. It lines each nail mark with a tiny rim. You smile. It is like reading a text in dark mode. Old school. No battery needed. Autocorrect is just your brain. You stand and take a slow step. Your own sandals whisper. The dust shifts. You can see how a message would appear and vanish with each stride. Not every step will show clean. A rut will break a word. A wheel will cross a line. A mule will ruin a sentence. But the street is long. A short phrase can repeat. A mind can catch it. It only takes 2 or 3 good prints. Then the idea lands. Follow me. This is a fun idea. It is also messy. Historians still argue whether shoes truly spelled words in the dust. Some point to soles with studs lined like letters. Some say those soles are rare. Some say they are later fakes. Others say the idea is sound but not common. You nod. Rome loves workarounds. Rome also loves stories. You hold both thoughts at once. There are clear facts you can stand on. Hobnails are real, lots of them. Diggers find piles where the leather rotted away. A ghost of a shoe stays in the soil. A neat oval of nails. They find them in forts and towns. They see rosette patterns. They see lines and chevrons. They see style and humor sometimes. Feet can be fancy even when covered in dust. One more fact sits steady. Short Latin phrases pop up on many things. Lamps say have. Cups say bibe. Walls shout veil. Words like follow fit that Roman habit. A quick call. A quick answer. It suits a crowded street. It suits a shy plan. Person could walk past. You could read the ground. You could make a choice. All without a shout. You kneel again. You imagine both souls at work. Each could print the whole phrase. Small letters. Tight and clean. Or maybe one soul says seek. The other says re-me. Left foot. Right foot. The street does the math. You giggle at that. Your shoes are the quietest in the math class. No homework. No quiz. Just a trail. You press your hand flat and feel grit. You think about sound, too. A studded step makes a particular tick. It is sharper than a soft leather slap. It is a clue for the ears. A trained client might hear it and look down. Now the dots glow in the corner of the eye. That is the sweet spot. You do not stare. You notice. You drift. A good ad does that. It nudges, then lets you think you've chosen. A cat pads back to you. It sits on your foot like it owns rent. You whisper, "Should I follow?" The cat blinks once, then twice. That feels like a yes. Or a no. Cats do that. You take it as a yes because you want a yes, the cat yawns. Your answer is noted. You think about rules, too. Letters need dust. Or ash. Or a thin skin of damp. Heavy mud would blur a message. Dry polished stone would miss a dot. That is why edges work best. Near walls. Near the door lips. In alleys where brooms missed a strip. The competum you passed was perfect. Light from one side. Dust in the middle. A gentle breeze to lay things flat. You did not know it then. You do now. Here comes a quirky bit for dessert. Some nail heads are not plain. Some are little flowers. Some shine like tiny suns. They leave cute rosettes. It turns a footprint into a stamp of joy. It is part grip, part charm, part show-off. It makes the street a little happier under the heel. Imagine leaving flowers with every step. That is a mood. You picture the worker who used a message soul. Not a soldier. Not a baker. Someone who sells time and touch. Someone who knows how to read a face from 10 paces. Why would they pick letters? One reason is choice. A sign above a door is harsh. A shout is risky. A grin can be wrong. But a trail that says, "Follow me," lets both sides decide. It is quiet. It is easy to ignore. It is easy to accept. Feels like a game. A safe one most nights. You hear steps at the far end. 2 men cross the street. They whisper about the prices of figs. One laughs at one's own joke. You try not to. It isn't good, but it is confident. He would do well on the internet. You look back at the dots. The breeze stirs. The edge of a letter softens. See how fast a message lives and dies? It is like a story told at a fire and gone at dawn. That is handy too. No one can point to a sign if the sign blows away. You tap your chin. You feel the little nail heads in your mind. You wonder how long a message would last. Nails wear down. They fall out. They need care. Cobbler would love that. More visits. More pay. Smart business. Your wallet winces from across time. It knows this trick. You chuckle. The hustle is old. One more debate nudge. Some scholars say the phrase might not be sequer me. Could be a name. Maybe a wish. Could be a blessing. A lot of finds are fragments. A heel here. A toe there. The middle lost. We make guesses from dots. That is honest work, but it is still guessy. Historians still argue whether the letters we think we see are truly letters at all, or if our eyes play join the dots in the dark. You leave that door open. Keeps you kind. The watchman's glow drifts close again. He hums a slow tune. He does not mind your crouch. You look like a tourist from 2,000 years away, which, to be fair, you are. He moves on. His light helps one last time. The dots red sharper for a breath. You mouth the words. Follow me. You feel the tug. You also think your sense. You will follow, but not with your head off. You have practice now. You rise. Your knees pop. Your sandals find that quiet rhythm. Tick, tick, tick. You carry the idea with you. Shoes can speak. They can do it with nails and dust. They can do it fast and softly. It is a tiny thing. It is enough. You let the curve of the alley guide your step. The cat leaves you for a better offer. Rude but fair. You smile. The letters get fainter behind you. Ahead, the street bends and the game goes on. You drift downhill into the Subura. The air thickens. Heat stacks between tall brick walls. Wooden balconies lean like sleepy eyebrows. Laundry moves in the breeze. Pots drip. A dog noses a cabbage leaf and decides it has no future. The lanes here are tight. Stone blocks pinch you close. Corners jump at you fast. Good for hiding. Suitable for slipping out of sight. Ideal for a trail that only the alert will spot. Dust swirls low where two alleys meet. You're slow. The dots appear again, a quick curve, then a straight run. The letters don't shout. They wink. You catch a C, then lose it to a cart rut, then regain. Remy. The corner holds the message like a little stage. Remember that competum you passed earlier? Here is another, leaner cousin. A tiny shrine sits in a wall niche. A little face watches. A curl of smoke licks the air. It smells like pine and old hope. Your feet move more softly. This is a crossroads. Things begin and end at places like this. The Subura is a real place in Rome. It is crowded, loud, and full of shops. Tall apartment houses rise on both sides. People pack in tight. Fire is a risk here. That is why guards walk and water stands ready. You trace the ground. The dots skirt a puddle, flip left, and head toward a brighter glow. You hear laughter and the soft slap of water. You smell olive oil and wet clay tiles. The trail is leaning toward baths. The door is wide and warm. A little desk stands near the entry. A boy dozes. A basket holds tiny tickets. Some bathhouses hand out tokens. They show a number or a mark. You pay a small coin. Quadrants buys you clean most days. That is a steady fact. All kinds of people come here. Rich, poor, free, enslaved. They share the steam. They scrub, talk, and gossip. You pass the desk, and the heat hugs you like a damp blanket. My hair frizzes in sympathy even across time. Same fight, friend. Inside, the floor turns from battered stone to smooth mosaic. The dots fade in the wet shine. No surprise. Nails don't stamp well on damp tile. Also, heavy hobnails are rough on fancy floors. An attendant waves a hand at your feet. He points to a shelf. You slip off your street sandals and switch to soft soles. Bath sandals are light. The floor can be hot in the steam rooms. You try a step. Feels like walking on warm bread. You sigh. Okay, that is nice. In the changing room, pegs line the wall. Porter watches the clothes. You hear the scrape of a strigil as someone scrubs oil from their skin. A jar of perfume tips. It smells like rose and a hint of goat. You do not judge. You let the steam blur your edges. Words always soften in a fog. So do plans. But the trail has not died. It has shifted. You see it near the furnace corridor. Ash dusts the threshold where fuel moves. There, iron dots could speak again. Quick loop. A pause. Then the line skips through a side door. You pass through the warm room. The tepidarium glows like amber. Voices roll low. A man tells a joke about sheep and the law. You decide not to repeat it. The hot room breathes hard. The caldarium hisses. You draw a smiley face on the steam. It drips back at once. The floor here leaves no letters, but the path is still clever. It uses the dull line between clean and dirty. Where ash settles, a bright soul can stamp a hint. Not too bold, just enough to tug a mind. Now, one quick fact check for your inner nerd. Some emperors tried to enforce strict bath rules. Mixed bathing received criticism from time to time. Hadrian later pushed for stricter hours. Owners set their own customs, too. Times for men, times for women. Fees change with the mood. And nearby, plenty of side doors and niches where extra services swirl around the steam. Historians still argue whether brothel work happened inside every bath or just outside it, and whether those little bronze spintry were brothel tokens or just game pieces. You tuck the thought away and keep moving. You pass out through a half-lit yard. A fig tree leans over the wall. Its leaves make big hand shapes on the ground. The letters come back in a dusty strip where the brooms missed a lane. The phrase repeats like music with a short hook. Follow me. You grin. You are being handled. And you do not mind. The best ads feel like your own idea. Classic. The street outside the baths is lively. A snack stall sizzles. Sausages are being spit on a pan. You buy one in your head and pay with your future regret. A dice game clacks in a corner. A few men with damp hair laugh with their shoulders. They smell like mint oil and victory. The dots lead around them. They know how to avoid a spill. They hug the old wall. Then they stop at a door with a lamp. The door is simple. Thick wood. A small window. The threshold is worn. A little lucky symbol hangs near the lintel. People hang those for good fortune. Keeps the evil eye away. The lamp has a cover that cuts the light. It glows like a secret. The dust on the step is perfect. You see the tail of the last letter. Me. You feel the tug one more time. Rules breathe here too. If this is a lupaner, someone has a name on a ledger. The city wants taxes. The ediles keep lists. Workers in this trade bear a mark of social stigma known as infamia. That is a big word that means the law does not treat them like the high crowd. They pay fees. They get fines if they break set lines. But the work is legal. It sits in both daylight and shadow. The door is half open. The lamp is half shaded. It fits the city's split heart. You glance up and down the lane. The watchman is aglow 2 corners away. He does not rush. He has seen doors like this since his first night on duty. He knows the rules. He minds the peace. Noise is his worry. Not quite shoes. You feel the urge to knock. Your knuckles rise. Then you drop your hand. You are here to read, not to push. You listen and learn. A whisper floats out. The price list would be inside some towns. Pompeii has one painted neatly. Rome does things loudly but also privately. A host might speak a menu like a market seller, but in a softer tone. Names are code. Choices are coded, too. You do not need the list tonight. You are tuned to the ground. The Sandals did their job. They led you to the threshold. The rest is up to the walker. A small, odd thing lights your brain. People sometimes carry little lamps shaped like feet. Tiny bronze soles with toes. They are tokens for luck on the road. They make you smile in this context. A foot leading you to a doorway. A foot to keep you safe on the way back. Cute. Weird. A wink across time. You swing your heel, and the dust puffs up like a sigh. You step back from the door and let the scene hold. The alley breathes. The trail does not insist. It invites. That is the charm. No shout. No signboard. Just a phrase that appears at corners, fades on tile, and returns where ash and dust lie thin. The city sets the rules. The people learn the dance. The shoes do the hinting. You look down once more. The dots are soft now. The night is kind. You follow the lane onward, because the story keeps walking. You ease away from the door and blend back into the lane. People pass like little lanterns on legs. Faces glow. Fabrics move. Hair catches light. You start to read bodies the way you read dust. Small hints, quick choices, a quiet code. Hair hits you first. Blonde, bright as straw at dawn. You know the trick. Wigs are a big trade in Rome. Real ones, mainly from the north. German hair is prized. That is a solid fact. Shops stack bundles like golden rope. You can spot a wig when a curl doesn't match the eyebrows. Sorry, friend. Your secret is safe with me. Mostly. Some go for dye. Saffron makes a warm gold. It smells like a kitchen mixed with a garden. Beech, ash, and oil push things even lighter. It is the ancient version of sun-kissed highlights, but with more smoke and less shampoo. You grin. Imagine your bathroom after that. The smell would move in and never pay rent. Your eyes drop to the clothes. A tall woman strides by in a bright wrap. She holds her chin like she owns the cobbles. Married women, the proper set, like a long dress with sleeves and a shawl. People call that outfit the stola and palla. Statues show it. Poems praise it. But style shifts. Rules bend. And here is the twist you came for. A worker in this trade might wear a toga. Yes, the big citizen wrap. On a woman, it is a slap in the tone. A joke made fabric. Says, I am not trying to be a modest matron. I am here to do business. Writers in Rome make fun of that look a lot. Historians still debate whether a law actually compelled that choice or if it was merely a stereotype that persisted. Either way, the image works like a sign you can walk in. A laugh pops up behind you. Two girls compare shades of blonde under a lamp. One taps her wig. Too bright, she asks. The other shrugs. Not bright enough. You hear the wink in it. You hear the pride, too. You do not need a billboard when your hair does the talking. Your own hair feels very normal right now. You pat it. It is okay to be a background character. We love a background character. Necklaces flash next. Glass beads. Amber drops. Little coins pressed flat. Rome loves jewelry. Even the cheap stuff has punch. A line of colored beads across a collarbone is like a banner you forgot to roll up. It says, I sparkle. It says, yes, I am open to talking. You spot an amulet hanging low. A tiny hand charm with a thumb poking between fingers. It is for luck. For warding off the evil eye. The Romans call these little power pieces by many names. They trust them the way you trust that one key on your ring that you never use but never toss. You feel the tiny weight of faith in each charm. Down by the ankle you catch more clues. A slim bracelet on the right. A spiral on the left. Anklets are not common in Rome like they are in some far lands. But they exist. You see them in port towns and the busy parts of the city. They chime very softly. They catch the lamplight. They draw your eye down. And that is precisely where shoes want you to look. Shoes finish the sentence. Straps lace up a calf. They leave neat angles on the skin. Swap the straps and you swap the tan lines. You can read a summer of choices on a leg if you try. The leather can take dye. Yellow to match hair. Red to kick like a tiny fire. Green if someone had a vine mood. You do not need a closet if you can change your laces. Ancient capsule wardrobe hack. You're welcome. You crouch near a step and pretend to tie your own shoe. You study patterns. Some soles are plain. Some have those rosette nails you met earlier. Little flowers underfoot. They make a cheerful stamp in the dust. Others show neat rows around the edge, modern and clean. And then sometimes you spot the alphabet trick. A tight line of dots that tries to tell you to follow me before the breeze edits the thought. A woman passes with a soft click. Her sandals sing in a tinier pitch than the heavy worker boots. Tick, tick, tick. You glance. Careful wig. A bright wrap. Not a stola. Not a palla. Not tonight. Rings on 2 fingers, but not on the left ring finger, which shouts wife in later times. A slight scent of musk and honey. The letters in her wake are half there, half gone. The path is not a shortcut. It is a hum. Sumptuary rules peek in here and there. Some old laws attempted to limit the use of gold, color, and flash. Lex Appia did that long ago, then got tossed out after a loud street debate. This city loves a street debate. After that, the mood shifts with emperors and with taste. What is too much depends on who is pointing. A woman in a saffron wrap might be a bride in one place and a performer in another. Clothing is a moving target. But when you see a borrowed toga on a bright blonde night, you know the tone. It's not a wedding. You rub your thumb over a strap and feel the grit. You think about comfort, too. A worker who walks a lot at night picks shoes that hold up. Soft leather on top. Firm sole below. Nails for grip. Letter nails if you plan it. The shoe becomes a tool and a billboard. 2-in-1. Ancient multitasker. Your modern planner blushes. Here is a quirky bit you will enjoy. Some wigs sit on little stands with names. Think of a shelf full of heads. You pick your mood. Today I am Livia. Tonight I am Flora. That might be a rumor mixed with a bit of truth. But wig boxes and stands are sure. Barber shops display curls. Hairdressers called ornatrices do magic with pins and hot irons. You hear the sizzle when a curl meets a metal rod. You smell singe and rose oil. You remember the steam room face you drew. This curl will not drip away. You step around a puddle and catch a reflection. Your face floats with the street. Lamps make halos. Jewelry winks back at the stars. You watch a client clock the clues. The hair, the wrap, the shoes. He sees the message without a word. He is not pushed. He is nudged. He drifts like a leaf toward a door you already know. One more look at the feet. A few sandals wear a tiny scratch mark where the strap meets the sole. A maker's sign. Like a signature. Cobblers in Rome build a name. Some carry little metal tags. Some cut a notch that they only use. If you like a shoe, you go back to that mark. If you want a message, you ask for letters. The craft is quiet, but it is there. It holds an economy under the main show. You pass a shrine and leave a crumb for the Laras. You remember the first one you saw, the little flame and the bread. The city keeps its rituals. So do the streets. Hair sets the mood. Clothes send the category. Jewelry catches the eye. Shoes seal the plan. Then dust takes the last line and writes it on the road. Follow me. You breathe out. You keep walking. You feel the code all around you now. A cat slips by and inspects your ankle like a customs officer. Approved. You grin and salute. The wind lifts your hem, cools your shins. The night grows softer. Your steps are slow. The clues stack themselves without effort. You are not just looking anymore. You are reading, and the sandals are still whispering. You turn a corner where orders and rules hang on a wall. The paint is faded, but the letters still bite. Little notices cling to plaster like tired butterflies. You read one aloud in your head. Fees, fines, hours. It feels like a bulletin board and a scolding ant at the same time. Rome loves order. Rome also loves money. Those two hold hands here. You imagine stepping into an office by day. Two ediles share a desk. Their clerks sit on stools. Wax tablets stack like cookies. A line snakes to the door. People sigh. People fan their necks. You know this scene. It is the world's oldest cue. A woman in a saffron scarf steps up. She lowers her voice. She gives a name. Maybe not her birth name. Perhaps a stage name. Flora. Cytheris. Nice and bright. The clerk scratches it down. He adds age, status, address. He names her trade as meretrix. That is a fact of Roman life. Registration happens. The list sits in the edile's books. The word that sticks is infamia. It is a mark of status. It does not mean illegal. It means you will not be treated like a proper matron in court. Your voice counts less. Your choices get boxed in. You cannot marry into certain ranks. You cannot wear the fancy matron look and claim that shield. It sticks even if you stop. The law is a burr that clings to your hem. You try not to brush it, but there it is. You stand in the night and watch a clerk's shadow through a window. You picture his stylus. Tap, tap, tap. He would get along with the cobbler from earlier. They both love small dots that shape lives. Historians still argue whether the names on those lists were always legal names or if stage names ruled the ink. It matters how the law found people later. It also shows how a person can maintain two separate identities. Day self, night self, same sandals. Fines live in this world, too. The ediles watch the markets and the streets. They can be punished for blocking a road, for fights, for price cheats, for scams. If a brothel spills its party into the lanes and keeps the block awake, a guard can rap on the door and demand a coin. If someone pretends to be a matron and lures a man into a trap, there is a fine for that. The line between fun and fraud is a moving wire. You can hear it hum when the wind picks up. Taxes buzz in your ear as well. There is talk of a special tax on this trade. Some say Caligula loved that coin. Cut of earnings. A fee per person or per act. It sounds like a subscription you did not ask for. Historians still argue whether that tax was real across the whole empire or just a short, messy grab in Rome. Sources are loud. Receipts are quiet. You tuck it on the maybe shelf and keep walking. You glance at a temple across the square. The steps glow. Its columns rise like ribs of a sleeping giant. Certain spots want quiet. Near sacred places, near courts, near the houses of the high rank, people expect calm. Soliciting in those zones can draw a sharp look or a fine. This is where Sandals find their moment. A signboard would shout and get swatted. A voice would echo and draw heat. But a trail of dots? That is a whisper. It says follow me only to the eyes that look down. It dodges a rule without tripping it. It is like sending a text that deletes itself when the breeze comes. No screenshots in dust. You pass a door where a landlord sits on a stool. He taps a tablet with his stylus like he is bored with being bored. He rents rooms by the hour and by the month. Pimps and madams, lean-ons and leany, pay him. They keep accounts. They owe rent. They owe fines if someone breaks a stair or a latch. This is a business. It has receipts, brooms, and drama. It also has paperwork. You respect the paperwork because it outlives most of the drama. A watchman drifts by and nods at the door. His lamp paints the ground. He is not here to judge. He is here to keep fires small and voices low. He hates fights more than pleasures. He hates roofs that catch like tinder. He maintains a bucket list. It is made of actual buckets. You almost clap at your own joke. Then you don't. The night deserves better. You slow near a patch of clean stone. No dust. No letters. Just a stretch of honest rock. That is a rule too. Letters need luck. They need dirt or ash. They need that soft skin on the road that you felt under your hand before. A smart walker selects routes with good ground. Along the wall where brooms miss. Along the ash path by the bath furnaces. Along the swept but never perfect edge of a market stall. The city writes back when you choose your stage well. You remember the wigs from before. The bright rap. The anklet's tiny chime. Those are legal. Those are loud without being loud. They obey and they tease. They are like a bird that sings right up to the fence line. The shoes take the next step, literally. The letters form in dust, then fade. If someone complains, you shrug. What letters? A breeze kicks, and your alibi floats away. Helpful. Here comes a quirky bit for your pocket. Some doorways hang wind chimes shaped like little hands and other lucky symbols. The breeze makes a tinkle. That sound can be comforting. Can also be code. Open, closed, busy, quiet. You cannot prove it from one block. But you hear the rhythm and you smile. A bell that keeps the evil eye away, but also sends a tiny ad into the night. 2 birds. 1 chime. You stop by a tavern and peek in. A host wipes a cup. He has seen everything. He knows who pays taxes and who dodges them. He knows who used to be on a ledger, then retired, but still shows up on bright nights. He grins at you like you are the new city auditor. You raise both hands. No fear. You are just out for a walk. And a story. The law's big words push back on your thoughts. Lex Iulia on adultery is one. Police's married lives. It makes a mess of secrets, but it does not aim at this trade in the same way. If you register as a worker, you are outside that net. The city made space. It wanted order more than purity. It wanted names, addresses, and quiet nights. It got what it could most of the time. You picture a woman who tried to climb back out. She left her name with the ediles years ago. Now she wants to be a proper wife. She begs to erase the mark. Sometimes the answer is no, the stain sticks. There are stories of appeals. Some win with friends and gifts. Some don't. The past is a stubborn cat. It sits on your paperwork and refuses to move. You sigh with her. You also pat the cat in your head. Cats will be cats. You drift past another shrine, a little flame bows. You leave a crumb again. You remember your first crumb. You remember the basil water that splashed your feet. The city repeats in soft loops. Rules. Work. Play. Coin. Dust. Words. Wind. The sandals fit in that loop like a quiet gear. They clip the laws at the edge. They tease them. They sometimes flaunt them, too. A trail that leads straight past a magistrate's house is a flex. You can almost hear a laugh. Brave. Risky. A small dare. You listen for trouble. You hear none. You hear the usual Rome soundtrack. A cart's wheel. A murmur behind shutters. A late prayer. The watchman's step. Your own breath. You keep it slow. You keep it soft. You keep the rules of the street, even while you learn how others slip around them with grace. You look down. There it is again. A neat string of dots along the wall. Just the tail of the phrase because the cleaner swept the middle hard. Me, me, me. It looks like a whisper bouncing from stone to stone. You smile. You nod. You understand. You follow, but with your head on. That is the whole point. The law wants calm. The city wants choice. The sandals walk on a path. You give all three a little win. You follow the me, 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 along the wall until a new sound takes the lead. Tap, pause, tap, tap. A hammer speaks in a tiny code. You slide under a low arch, warm light spills from a doorway. The room smells like hide, oil, and smoke. Leather hangs like brown leaves. A man sits on a three-legged stool. His bench is a crowded planet. Awls, needles, knives, nails in a clay dish. He does not look up. He knows the shape of every step on this street. You stand close and watch his hands. He draws a line with chalk on thick leather. He sets a wooden foot form on top. That form is called a last. Keeps the shape true while he works. He cuts the sole with a short, quick knife. Shavings curl like apple peels. He hums. He melts beeswax on a thread with his fingers. He rubs it in like butter on bread. Your stomach remembers the sausage stand. Rude stomach. Later, he folds the leather. He pierces holes with an awl. The tool looks simple, a point, a handle, a rhythm. Push, twist, pull. The needle slides in. The wax thread locks the stitch. He adds a second layer so the feet don't touch the nail points later. You nod at that. You like your toes. Keep them happy. He tells you with a glance. Soft goat for uppers, strong cow for soles. That mix is standard in Rome. It is a steady fact. A good shoe is a matter of layers, not luck. Now he sets aside the plain sole and pulls a special one. The leather is thick. The bottom side faces up. He has drawn faint letters in a mirror. The L curves backwards. The E leans the wrong way. It looks bad until you remember dust reads the flip. He smiles without teeth. He dips a nail in oil. He taps a starter dimple. Tap, tap, tap. Then the head settles. Then another. Tiny circles march into a shape. A word grows under his hand. You lean in. The nails are not all the same. Most are round. A few have a flower head. Remember the rosettes you saw in the dust? Here is their start. He places 2 rosettes at the ends like dots of light. Cute. A little wink. The rest are plain for grip. He is not building a glitter sandal. He is building a message that can survive a week of stones, carts, and random basil water from balconies. He shows you the difference between a soldier soul and this one. Soldiers love thick rows. Heavy. Loud. They wear caligy with a forest of nails. That is a fact we can plant our feet on. You hear their steps in forts and in towns. Archaeologists find piles of hobnails where the leather rots. Places like Vindolanda, up near the wall in Britain, give up hundreds of shoes. They find shoes for men, women, kids, and lots of nails. A whole city of feet in the mud. The nails map out circles, lines, and rosettes. Some look like lightning. Some look like neat nets. You play spot the pattern in your head, and you lose track of time. The cobbler lifts a tray of fine sand. He wets it with a whisper of water. He stamps the sole into it. He lifts it away and waits for your face. You grin. The letters sit clean. They read the right way now. He nods. He counts the spacing with his eye. He plants 2 more nails to fix a weak curve. He stamps again. Better. He likes it better. He also likes coins. He taps the tray and erases the test print with one sweep. Smart. No one gets a free ad from his practice run. You ask how long the message will last. He lifts a shoulder. He points at a little cup of spare nails. The heads wear down. The shanks loosen. You come back for a tune-up. He charges a little. You both smile. The hustle is old. He adds a sliver of leather at the heel. He says it takes the first shock and saves the letters. Tiny heel lifts are not just a fashion. They are math. You point to a jar. He tells you it is fish glue. Sticky. Smelly. Useful. He sets it near a heat stone so it stays warm. He shows you a little peg. Some saws also have wooden pegs, not just nails. The mix depends on the shoe and the street. Nails help on slick stone. Pegs help hold layers tight and keep metal from chewing into the footbed. Then he taps the clinch. He drives each nail through and bends the tip inside between layers. He covers that with soft leather. No bite, only grip. He picks up a strap. He threads it through the side slots. He uses a bone tool to smooth edges. A rough cut hurts. A smooth cut hugs. He flips the shoe and looks for proud nail heads. He taps them all at the same level. He listens to the pitch of the metal. You hear high notes and low notes. The bench becomes a tiny drum. He does not explain. He does not need to. He has done this all his life. You ask the question in your eyes. He says, "Words cost more." Of course they do. He shows his fingers, stained dark from tannin and oil. He prices the job with those fingers. Plain, pattern, letters. The last one gets 2 fingers more. You think of your wallet across time again. Pretends to faint, drama queen. You test the sole with your fingertip. The nail heads feel cool and smooth. The letters are tight and short. He tells you long words fail in the wild. Dust breaks lines. Ruts slice letters. Please keep it simple. 2 words. A name could be a name. Perhaps a sign like a star or a tiny hand. He has a little pad of wax where he tests layouts with a stick. He calls it his sketchboard. You love that. It looks like a dessert you cannot eat. Here is a quirky bit he tosses at you like candy. Socks. Yes, socks. Romans wear them sometimes with sandals. Wool ones. The soldiers call them moudons. People laugh about socks and sandals now. People laughed then, too. But cold stone is cold stone. You nod. Sock jokes are eternal. Also, warm toes win. He walks you through the mirror trick again. He writes S backwards, then stamps it. He points to the left sole. He builds half the phrase there. He points to the right. He builds the rest there. A short message can be split. Step by step, the road assembles the thought. He is proud of that. You can see it in the way he straightens his back. If he had a sign, it would say custom letters while you wait. He does not need a sign. His work walks the city all night. Now your museum brain wakes up. You picture glass cases, dim lights, a soul under glass with a halo of tiny dots. Some places show rosette soles. Pretty. Some show lines that might be letters. That word matters. Historians still argue whether any Follow Me soul on display is truly ancient or a clever later copy. Photos run wild. Labels change. Some finds are real but fragmentary. A heel here. A toe there. Your eyes want to join dots into a word. Your caution taps your wrist and says, "Careful. Keep both the joy and the doubt." The cobbler shrugs at the debate. He points to his tray of sand and says, "It works." He points to your eyes. You saw it. He points to the door. It sells. He is not writing a scroll. He is running a shop. You respect that. He pours oil onto a rag and rubs the leather until it gleams. The shoe resembles a small boat, ready for launch. He reaches under the bench and brings up a handful of odd nails. Some are stars. Some are tiny moons. He says people ask for luck. He places a star near the toe like a charm. He never puts them where they will catch and trip. He is not a fool. He shows you a tiny maker's mark punched on the inside strap. Just a single line. You remember the scratch marks you saw on the ankles in the street. Here is the source. Quiet signatures live here. You glance at a little bowl of black. He says it is soot mixed with oil. A quick rub darkens the sole edges. It hides scuffs. It makes a new shoe look like it has been out and is fine. No blisters, he says with a grin. You like his humor. You want him to sell comfort and a story, my kind of small business. He points to a child's shoe on a peg. It is tiny. It has one flower nail in the middle, just for joy. You put that image in your pocket for later. It softens the edges of the night. It reminds you that the street is not only about deals and codes. It is also little feet chasing cats. Speaking of, your alley cat friend pops into the doorway. The cobbler tosses a crumb. Approved. The cat sits on your foot again. This is your life now. You accept the terms. He fits the finished sandal into your hands. It is warm from work. Feels alive. He holds up a tray of ash. He stamps once more. The letters show clean. He wipes them away with the back of his hand. Puff. Gone. You hear the idea in that movie. It appears, it guides, it vanishes. A perfect ad in a city that loves to pretend it did not see what it just enjoyed. You thank him with a nod. He nods back the same amount. No extra. You step into the night with the smell of wax and hide on your clothes. The hammer song fades behind you. The street takes the rhythm in. Your ear keeps it. Your feet keep it. The sandals on the stones will do the talking from here. Also, a side note. The cobbler had a sign over his bench in tiny script. No returns after Saturnalia. You chuckle into your sleeve. Fair enough. You step back into the night with wax and leather on your hands. The hammer song fades. The street takes over again. You decide to test the game for real, no guide rope. No signs. Just eyes, ears, and dust. Your map app is 2,000 years too early, so you switch to dirt mode. The stones ahead shine where feet have polished them, busy stones. Good stage. The dust sits at the edges like a thin scarf. You slow your breath. You scan. A row of crisp dots appears, then loses itself in a rut, then reappears near a wall. The curve looks familiar. You whisper the phrase you want, but you don't force it. You learned that from the cobbler. Let the road finish the sentence. A cart groans past. The wheel rim kisses the stones and sings. You wait and let it roll by. You check your corners. No tight knots of men. No sudden shouts. You leave space between you and the doorways. You are curious but not careless. The watchman's glow moves like a slow planet at the end of the lane. It's nearly enough to keep you honest. Far enough for the hush to breathe. A drop hits your cheek. Then another. Rain. The first smell is dust waking up. Then the old mortar. Then the olive smoke as a window shuts. A cloak swings around your shoulders. The wool drinks the wet. You pull the hood up. This is a paennula, the familiar rain cloak in Rome. That is a straight fact. Turns you into a tidy burrito with feet. Chic. The fan from the intro would be of zero help now, but we still love the vibe. The rain makes the stones slick. The letters risk a blur. You shift to the sidewalk. Rome builds sidewalks. Raised curbs guard your toes from wheels and muck. Stone stepping blocks dot the road in some places, too. They let you cross when the water runs. Wheels can still pass between them. Smart. You hop one block to the next. 10 out of 10. One moth holds up a wax tablet with a harsh judge. You bend and watch how rain and letters fight. In the center, ruts fill. At the margins, a shallow skin of dust holds firm under the overhang of balconies. That is your lane. The dots stay neat there. They dodge drips from one clogged gutter, then line up again. The trail turns toward a narrow side street. It hugs the left, where an eave makes a dry stripe. You follow heel to toe. Safety rides on your shoulder. You keep to lamp pools. You own a coin that you can find with your hand. Not for a fight. For a quick cup of wine at a doorway if you need to look like you belong. You listen for the watchman's rustle. You listen for extra feet behind you. You let the rain hide your sound. You let it talk over your nerves. A small oil shop awning flaps above you. A boy pulls it tight and smiles a sorry smile. He points at the ground like, look. You look. The letters show clean as a scratched slate. Me, then a full step lands sweet. Sequer me. You feel a slight cheer rise in your chest. You pretend you are calm. You are not quiet. You are delighted. You pass a drain mouth that gurgles. Big drains run under the city. The Cloaca Maxima has carried stormwater to the river since ancient times. That truth stands like a heavy arch under everything here. Tonight, it slurps like a hungry beast. You tip your head to the ancient plumbing. Respect. You hear a squeak and glance up. A woman shakes rain from a wig and laughs. Her friend opens a tiny parasol. Yes, Romans carry umbrellas sometimes. They call them umbracula. They keep the sun off pale skin and the rain off expensive hair. Quirky? A little. Handy? Very. You did not bring one. You accept your life choices. The trail ahead takes a hard angle and plays a trick. It loops once, then splits. One set of dots heads for a bright tavern. One set hugs the shadow and slips toward a quiet door. Your brain does a double take. Is that two walkers with matching soles? A helper laying decoys? Or just noise in the storm? Historians still argue whether decoy trails or rival misleads were a thing, or if we are putting modern marketing hats on old streets. You pick the shadow path. It feels more like the mood you have been reading all night. You slide past a baker's shop. Heat spills from the oven vent. Steam and rain dance in the air. You think of the baths and the ash line by the furnace. Dust loves edges. It loves heat. It loves the tiny ledge under a door where brooms never bite. You check those spots. The letters appear just where they should. You breathe out a thank you to every lazy broom in Rome. A cat sprints across the lane and shakes its paws like it hates the weather as a concept. Same. You curl your fingers inside your cloak and keep going. The watchman steps into view and lifts his lamp. He sees your hood. He sees your slow pace. He nods like, take care, the stone bites when it is wet. He is the friend who tells you to drink water and go home by the quiet streets. You nod back. You mean it. The stones here tell you age as well as direction. A fresh print is crisp at the toe and clean at the heel. An older one slumps a little. The dot edges feather. A smear tells you someone skidded. A hop says someone skipped a puddle. You read a small story in each step. A mind. A choice. A tiny shrug at the weather gods. The quiet door glows at last. Not bright. Not dark. Just a careful middle light under a little cap. Rain runs down the lintel and stops. The threshold has a dry stripe where the eave does its job. The letters land there like swallows. Sequer me. There it is again. Not loud. Exact. A fabulous scent drifts out. Oil. Smoke. A trace of spice. Laughter hums. A chair scrapes. The world holds its breath for you to pick a side. You wait under the eave and count to 10. You watch the lane behind you fill and empty. A pair of dice clicks, then hush. A cart slows at the corner to let a mule shake rain out of its ears. The watchman turns, checks a shutter, then fades. You weigh curiosity and sense. You will not push the door. You are a reader tonight, not a buyer. You let the trail end at your toes and do its job, which is to offer, not order. You look down at your own feet. You think of the cobbler's mirror letters. You think of the soft drum of nails on stone. You think of the time limit built into rain and wind. This ad has a life like a moth. It flutters. It shines. It dies. It is perfect for a city that wants deniability with its delight. You step back and watch the prints begin to blur as the rain shifts. Gone in a minute. A new walker will see a hint and not a word. The next will see nothing at all. That is part of the point. No poster to tear down. No chalk to wash. No charge to deny. Only a choice carried in a shoe. You drift back toward the main stones. The tavern door bursts open. Warm noise rolls out and then tucks back in. You let the glow brush your face and then pass. Your cloak drips, your hood sags. You decide the trail passed the test. It carried you from busy stones to a quiet door and kept you safe. You stayed in light. You kept an eye on the watch. You used the city's own edges like a shield. On the way out, you try one last hop across the stepping blocks. You stick the landing. The moth gives you a 10 this time. Growth. You grin at no one and at everyone. Rome hides games in plain sight. You found one. You keep the rules. You bow to the rain. You pat the cat in your mind. Then you walk on, softer now, ready for the next clue the night will give. The rain softens to a mist. Your hood slides back. The walls glisten like fresh wax on leather. You lift your eyes from the ground and start reading stone. Streets talk with feet. Walls shout with paint. Letters bloom in red and black. You see names, slogans, jokes. A neat hand lists games for next week. Gladiators face off. The ad gives dates and sponsors. That is real. In many towns, people paint notices for shows and vote on fresh whitewash. A wall is the city's message board. The comment section is, lively. You smile. You can almost hear two fans arguing in chalk. Not every note is loud. Some are a whisper, like the Sandals. A small sketch shows a shell. Venus loves shells. It hints at beauty and at love. Next to it, a heart. The paint is fast and sure. Simple works when you walk by at night. You get the point in a blink. The wall does the nudge. You do the rest. It is the same trick that the letters in dust are used. A light tug, not a push. A foot catches your eye. Toes point right. The heel is a neat oval. It is carved, not painted. People carved feet all over the Roman world. Some mark a safe path. Some are prayers. Some brag. I was here. In one far city by the sea, a big foot is cut into a slab near the main road. A heart sits by it. A woman's face, too. Guides say it points to a house of love. Historians still argue whether that carving is a brothel sign, a pointer to a different shop, or even a later joke. You keep your mind open. You keep your steps quiet. You pass a shop front with a painted boot over the door, the cobbler's lane. Of course. Next to it, a tavern with a bunch of grapes on a plank. Not everyone reads words, so pictures help. A boot says shoe. A shell says Venus. A heart says yes. The ad kit is brilliant and straightforward. Plays well with quick eyes and short nights. A lamp swings under a lintel and gives you a plan. Lamps are not just for light. They are signals. Lit lamp, door open. Hooded lamp, hush. Bright wick, busy. Dim wick, come back later. Owners love little tricks. Some hang 2 lamps when the house is ready. Some hang 1 when the house sleeps. You heard a chime code back on the other street. That tiny bell could be part of it. Open, closed, busy, quiet. You are not sure, but your gut likes the beat. You hold a lamp in your hand once in your mind. It is small, clay. A little picture rides its back. Makers stamp gods, ships, leaves, and sometimes feet. A foot on a lamp is a joke and a guide. Light for your steps. Light for a plan. You like that pun more than you should. Sorry. Sleepy brain. Also, some makers press their names into the clay. That is a fact. The stamp sits by the handle. You remember the scratch marks on ankle straps. The artisans here love a signature. A bronze charm dangles from a door beam and clinks in the breeze. It's a tiny bell chime. The charm itself is bold and a little cheeky. The Romans trusted these for luck. They think the sound scares off the evil eye. Some versions even have wings. Yes, wings. Flying luck. Quirky? Very. You grin. You keep the description soft in your head and wave at the sensors. The point stands. People hang luck at doors. They also use it as a friendly wink. You spot another kind of guard. A painted eye with a bit of hand charm beside it. The thumb pokes between fingers. You saw one on a necklace earlier. It sends bad luck back where it came from. You add that to the toolkit list. Lamps, signs, charms, graffiti. Each adds a tiny note to the same song. Follow. Be safe. Be seen. Be quick. A doorway mosaic greets your toes. The tiles read have, which means welcome. That is a steady fact all over Italy. Some floors warn cave canum, beware of dog, with a dog all fangs and leash. Picture signs are evident even when you cannot read. A foot mosaic at a threshold would fit. Step in. Step safe. You do not need a paragraph when a single tile gives the mood. The city loves short. You drift along and look for arrows. A few lines point down an alley. A name repeats. Crispia, Crispia, Crispia. You hear the echo of a brand. Repetition is free. Paint is cheap. Walls reset with rain, but not as fast as dust. Paint holds your ad overnight. Dust holds it for an hour. Shoes bridge the gap. They move the idea in person. They bring the wall to your feet. You can almost hear a marketer from long ago whisper synergy. But we do not say that word here. We say nice teamwork. You pause under a balcony. Basil pots line the rail, water drips, but less than before. You remember the first splash on your toes. The city always throws basil at you when you least expect it. A woman up there watches the lane. She knows every sign. She knows which lamp belongs to whom. She sees a foot painted at knee height on a wall around the corner and nods. That one points past the baker, not past the baths. She is your local algorithm. She runs on gossip and good tea. At your left, a thermopolium hums. The counter shows clay jars sunk into stone. Hot food lives in them. A little phallic symbol is etched tiny near the hinge. It is for luck. Keeps the bad away. It also gets a snort from you. Rome loves that symbol. Pops up in bakeries, guard posts, and homes. The tone shifts according to size and location. Here it is just a charm. There it might be a shout. You keep it PG in your soul and move along. You run your finger across a faded patch on a wall. Someone tried to remove a notice. New paint covers old. That is normal. Walls recycle like laptops. Layers stack. Under one layer, a list of names for a party. Under that, a vote sign. Under that, a prayer to a minor god of crossroads. Some writers use charcoal. Some use reddish paint. Some scratch with a nail. All think for a moment that their line will last. Most do not. You feel oddly calm about that. Ideas do not have to live forever to do their job. You glance back down. Yes, you are still a shoe person now. The ground offers a faint dotted line. The wall provides a heart. The door features a lamp with a hood that is half tilted. Your brain lines them up without effort. This is how the city wants you to see. Layer by layer. Hint by hint. No one thing takes the risk alone. Each piece bears a little bit. The load spreads. The plan walks. A soft laugh rolls from a doorway with a shell painted small near the hinge. The watchman passes and does not stop. The shell could be a straight nod to a goddess, or a simple beach mood from a house that loves summer, or more. Historians still debate whether certain pictures on doors were a code or merely decorative. They pull tiny clues from plaster. They fight in footnotes. You sip that drama like thin wine. You prefer the street proof. When a sign matches the dust, you trust it. You pass a stall lit by two lamps shaped like feet. You cannot help it. You stop. The seller winks. For safe journeys, he says. You want one for your desk. You do not have a desk here. You move on. Your cat pops out, then darts back under a cart. She is busy checking brand placements. Your cat is now your brand manager. You accept this and promise snacks. A man with damp hair from the baths reads a name on a wall and smiles. He knows where to go. He adjusts his cloak. He follows a foot painted low. He steps into the lamplight. He disappears behind a curtain. You do not follow. You watch how all the little signs partnered up to guide him. The dust spoke. The wall whispered. The lamp agreed. The charm kept watch. The night said okay. You keep walking until the mist is just a soft brush on your face. You think about your socks. Just kidding. No socks in the rain tonight. But you do remember the cobbler's rosette nails and smile. Flowers in dust. Hearts on walls. Shells on lamps. Bells in the breeze. It is all one language in many fonts. Gentle. Quick. Easy to erase. Easy to believe you found it on your own. You did. And you didn't. That is the art. The mist thins until the air is soft and clear. The city's sound comes back in layers. A mule snorts. A wheel grinds. A laugh bursts, then fades. Somewhere wood pops in a brazier. You listen and feel how time itself is part of the trick. Shoes do not only speak in dust. They speak when, after dinner is prime, people step out of their homes. They wander from baths and taverns. They are warm, fed, and curious. Dust has settled again after the evening sweep. Prints read clean. The letters live longer. You match your pace to the hum of the block. Not too fast, not too slow. Your nails tick when the lane quiets, and you go soft when noise rises. A gentle spotlight move. Your sandals are tiny stage managers. A fact walks in and takes a bow. Long ago, Julius Caesar banned most wheeled carts from the center by day. So the heavy traffic moves at night. Mules drag grain and stone under the stars. That rule is absolute. You can hear it right now. The cart train rattles past like thunder on small feet. Dust lifts and swirls. It settles into a smooth skin when the last will turns the corner. That is your moment. Stamp a crisp trail in the fresh lay step, curve. The message shines for a short, sweet beat. A watchman calls to another down the lane. A short word. A low tone. It is not a song. It is just a check. Are you fine? I'm fine. He moves on. He hates fires. He hates fights. He can live with quiet fun. You tuck that into your path plan. Stay near light. Keep the hush. Let the shoes hint for you. Historians still debate whether there was a true curfew in Rome or only loose, quiet hours that varied according to mood, danger, and the emperor. Your ears tell you the rule tonight. Be small, be kind, be gone. The moon lifts above roofs like a polished coin. Full moons help. Stones glow. Dust lines show like chalk on slate. New moons, you lean on lamps, door by door, lamp, shadow, lamp. You surf little pools of gold. You learned that rhythm back near the basil splash. It is the same dance, slower now. Your feet make sense of it without effort. You step into a square that is getting loud. People wear little felt caps. They shout, Io Saturnalia, and clap. Saturnalia is on. That festival is a big deal in winter. Role play runs wild. Masters serve at the table. Enslaved people get a day of jokes and truth. Gifts go round. Candles, clay figures, nuts, dice. That is all solid. You feel the mood lift as if the whole city took a deep breath and laughed. The air is thick with smoke and sweet wine. Sound stacks like layers of wool. Noise changes the ad game. You will not hear nail ticks over drum beats. But you can still use the busy floor. People pour into lanes that are usually empty. Fresh dust gets packed flat fast. Letters pop when they land in that thin top coat. You time your steps to the dips between claps and cheers. Not for ears, but for eyes. A glance drops to the ground when a laugh dies. That is when your dots should be under that glance. It is goofy that you think like this, but it works. Street players click a rhythm near a shrine. One uses a scabilum, a foot clapper. It is a wooden thing that snaps when you tap your heel. Dancers love it. Performers keep time with it. Quirky thought. Some say a worker could borrow that sound, a little click on cobble, to pull eyes down for a second. Maybe, maybe not. You file it under fun and keep it soft. The sandals you chase already have their own beat. A man in a pileus cap juggles nuts and loses one. It hits your shoe and ricochets into the dark like a tiny comet. You both grin. He bows. You bow back. The cat watches and judges your form. Harsh but fair. A girl hands her friend a candle and squints at the flame. The wick wobbles. The wax drips. Night smells like honey and smoke. You think of the cobbler's beeswax thread and smile. The city ties itself together with warm, sticky things. You drift to the edge of the square, where the stones slope. Water from a fountain cuts a fine line through dust. A smart walker would avoid the middle here. The letters will smear. But the dry shoulder at the edge, prime. You watch two prints land there, neat as notes on a staff. Sequeer me. Song and sign are friends tonight. Midnight rolls past on mule hooves. The cart train returns from the river. Axles creak. Harness bells tinkle. The ground shivers and resets like a shaken etch-a-sketch. You wait in a doorway and let the tremor pass. You count slowly. 1, 2, 3. The dust drops. The breeze smooths it. You step out and place the next hint. You are basically frosting a cake you are not allowed to eat. Rude, yes, but the cake looks great. You think about dawn, too. Dew will paint the stone and blur thin prints. Sweepers will push brooms and erase the rest. They will curse at nuts from the party. They will move the last of the wax with the soles of their feet. The day is not for this game. Day has eyes that report things. Night forgives. Night forgets. A man walks by with a small box in his hands. He guards it like a dragon. You catch a glimpse inside. Tiny clay figures. He is late to the Sigillaria market, but he is smiling as if he had won a prize. He turns under a lamp, and the figures glow for a heartbeat. Then he is gone. The square breathes. The guards breathe. You breathe. Timing is not only about hours. It is also the beat of a block. A dice game starts. You wait, a dice game ends. You slide past. A singer leans into a song. You give her space. A cart bumps a stepping stone, and a mule snorts in protest. You step into the lull when everyone turns to look. Their heads go up. Their eyes come down. And there your dots are, tidy and calm. You shuffle your feet and find a rhythm that makes better prints. Heel then toe. Less slide. More stamps. You give the dust a second to settle before the next step. You treat dirt like sourdough. It needs time. It rewards patience. Your shoes are broken now. You make a tiny loaf of letters on the street. Warm. Fresh. One bite long. You lean against a wall and think of curfews again. Big rules ebb and flow. Some emperors like nightlife. Some hate it. Some slam doors for a week when tempers rise. Some open the streets for festivals and pretend not to hear the rest. Historians still argue whether bells rang for a set lights out in any district or if guards just kept a moving calm. Your own walk says it is a dance. The line shifts. You learn it by ear. You feel the last cheer of Saturnalia roll away like a wave. The square goes quiet. The mules fade into dark lanes. The lamps burn low. You test the silence with one soft step and see a word bloom at your toes. Follow me. It lands like a whisper after a loud song. It lands well. You nod at the timing, which is half the craft here. You turn back toward the long street. You keep your shoulders loose. You let the quiet wrap you like a soft shawl. Your nails give the most minor tick as you pass one pool of light, then another. The city is sleepy and kind for once. You take that as your sign. Not the only sign, just the one you needed. And your sandals keep whispering on. You drift toward a stall with shelves like tiny stages. Glass covers dull leather. Nails gleam like little stars. Feels like a street museum. The owner lifts a lamp and smiles. He is proud of his treasures. He points with the lamp and lets you look. You see a child's shoe. It is as small as your palm. The sole is thin. 2 rosette nails sit near the heel like buttons on a coat. Cute. Your chest loosens at that sight. Not all feet in this city chase coin. Some chase cats and crumbs and naps. Your cat friend approves this message from under a bench. Next, a heavy sole from a soldier's boot. Caliga. Thick leather. Forest of nails. You can hear the drum of a march in your head. That sound carried Rome across rivers and hills. Archaeologists find piles of these nails where forts stood. That is a hard, steady fact. You look closely and spot a maker's notch on the strap. You think of the cobbler's thin scratch by the ankle. Quiet marks tie the city together. The owner lifts a board. On it sits a sole lined with dots in a tight arc. He holds the lamp low so that shadows are visible. The letters kiss the dust in your mind. CQ. He grins. You grin back. Your brain wants to shout. There it is. Then he winks and flips the board. A tiny line on the back says, copy. He taps the edge. He is honest. This one is a teaching piece. He made it to show the trick. He does not want to fool you. You like him for that. You ask if he has ever seen an old soul with clear words. He rubs his beard. He says he has seen patterns that tempt the eye. He has seen rosettes and stars. He has seen lines that could be letters. But a perfect, whole sequir me from deep time. Not yet. Not in his hands. Historians still argue whether any "follow me" slogan shown in books or on posters is truly ancient or a clever modern joke that has become outdated. Your eyebrows go up. Your hope does not die. Your caution gets a seat at the table. He points you to a back shelf. There lies a shoe from a wet ditch. The leather survived because mud kept out air. It smells like a pond. The nails sparkle in a neat oval. You can see rosettes near the toe. They once stamped flowers at every step. You almost clap. Your cat would hate you for it. The label reads, Roman shoe, leather, iron. No big story. No wild claim. Just a fact under glass. There is a quiet joy in that. He brings out a lamp next. Clay. Smooth. A little foot is stamped on the top. The toes point to the spout. He says people love feet on lamps. Safe travels. Quick steps. The joke writes itself. You saw 2-foot lamps at a stall earlier. You like seeing the idea alive here, too. The same sign pops up in 3 places in one night. That is how you know a culture's code is real. It repeats. It sticks. It smiles at you from different angles. You ask about the big carved foot you once heard about near the sea road. The one with a face and a heart. He nods. He has a rubbing of it. He lays it flat. The foot is long. The heart sits like a wink. He laughs and shrugs. Some guides say brothel. Some say shop. Some say, this way to a house with wine. Historians still argue whether that foot was a map, a prayer, or a brag. You are okay with the not knowing. Keeps your night soft and curious. He opens a small box. Inside are stray hobnails. Round, square, rosettes. One has a tiny star head. He says a few people ask for bells on straps. Just little ones. For luck. For sound. Quirky? Yes. But not crazy. You remember the scabilum foot clapper at the festival. Feet beat time in this city in many ways. That fact is alive in your ears still. You shift and catch yourself in the glass. You look like a damp ghost with good posture. The owner laughs and offers a rag for your cloak. He says, look, not everything in cases is old. Some are replicas. They teach the hands and the eyes. They fill gaps. He taps the copy sole again. He says, this shows what the dust can do. He taps the ditch shoe. This shows what the world kept. Between the two, your brain can build a bridge. You nod. Your heart builds it too. You walk with him to the door and talk myth and muscle. He says brothels in Pompeii had price lists and graffiti for sure. He says Rome had registered workers, taxes, and laws. He says studs with flowers are standard. He says studs that make a name maybe, but they're rare. He says, will someone dig one up tomorrow? Could be. He grins. He knows this city. It hoards. It also spits up secrets after storms. Your mind jumps to a modern shelf. You picture a museum shop in your own time. Flip-flops that stamp, follow me in beach sand. You roll your eyes and also want a pair. Joke 1, you would wear them once and then trip on a shell. Joke 2, your cat would read them and follow you to the fridge only. Joke 3, your mother would give your beach form a 5. No respect. You step outside and thank the owner. He bows formal as a dancer. You rejoin the street. The dust is thin now. The night is thinner. You look down and see the very end of a line. Me, just that. A tail. A soft hush. The wind does what wind does. It wipes the board clean. It is fine. You have the letters in your head now anyway. You pass the basil balcony. The pot drips one last time. Of course it does. The watchman turns the corner and tips his lamp. He is almost done. You raise 2 fingers in a small salute. He answers with the same. He has walked past every sign, light, and sandal trick in this quarter. He has kept calm. He will never write a book. But if he did, it would be good. Your steps take you back by the cobbler's arch. The hammer is quiet. The bench sleeps. A tiny scrap of leather lies on the sill like a crescent moon. You remember the mirror letters on his tray. You remember the test stamp in sand. You remember how he wiped it with one move and made the whole world deny it had ever been there. That wipe was the point. You stop at a crossing stone and stand still. The city is not loud now. It is soft. You feel the heat fade from the stone. You smell olive smoke and rain. You see nothing on the ground but your own small print. You breathe in and trust your own read of the night. Museums show bones. Myths give flesh. Your walk gives breath. All three matter. All three helped you see how Sandals could talk in Rome without saying a word. The last lamp shakes and steadies. A moth does a lazy circle and rests. Your cat strolls out, curls its tail around your ankle, and decides you can live. Big honor. You scratch the air above its head like you learned. Approved. You look down one last time. No letters now. Just the idea of letters. You nod, slow and sure. You let the previous dusty whispers fade. And you head home, quiet and content. Let the street grow dim and gentle now. Let the oil lamps turn to small moons behind shuttered windows. And let their glow settle into the stones the way a lullaby settles into a room. You are safe. You are warm. The rain has stopped, and the air tastes clean, like bread after the oven door opens. A watchman's step drifts far away, soft as a heartbeat you no longer have to count. And even the mule carts seem to float, wheels a hush on the road that carried you all night. Your shoulders unclench. Your breath grows slow and even. See how the dust you studied so closely is just dust again, harmless and quiet, tucking the city in. The basil on the balcony above you gives one last sleepy nod. The tiny shrine keeps its small flame. The cat you met decides the curb is a fine bed and coils into a circle that looks like the moon asleep. All your best clues have done their work, and they can rest now. So can you. If your mind still steps, let it step on soft ground, where no prints last more than a blink, and where each footprint is only a whisper that fades before you can worry about it. Let the cobbler's steady tap turn into distant rain, and let the letters you followed become friendly fireflies. Here for a moment and then gone, leaving only calm behind. You are home in your own room now. The fan hums the night into a smooth line, and your pillow remembers the shape of your head. Your hands are empty of dust and leather, yet warm, as if you still held a small lamp for a friend. Close your eyes and keep just one image. A quiet stone, a kind light, and soft steps that mean nothing more than peace. The story can sleep, and so can you.